the super block area, because all of these businesses share a common parking lot that we own, and they're all related there. My recommendation is that we treat them all the same. We took an immediate action that we could take right then to try to calm things down on Saturday by restricting the parking and prohibiting parking between 2 a.m. and 6 a.m. This is an additional step that we would take, and if you take this step today, then obviously all of the places that serve alcohol would be forced to close at 2 a.m. in the super block. I want to emphasize that this is only relating to the super block. It doesn't relate to any businesses that are outside of that area.
Now we have some people here. If anyone would like to speak, you step up and state your name. You step up and state your name, sir?
How's everybody today?
Fine, thank you, sir. Hope you're safe.
My name is George Clay, and I own the St. George Bar. I'm doing rights people in communication. It's a terrible thing, man, getting shot. 5 people getting shot in the bar. It's terrible. I'd like to point out a few things, especially about the law you just read. Shootings are not just in this area. Every time there's a shooting at a hotel, you don't look at closing the section of the hotel down. So there's shootings at hotels, there's shooting at apartments. The apartment one that was done last week wasn't within city limits, but it's still Myrtle Beach, you know, when people look at the news. There's shootings all over the place. Our governor has said that it's all right to carry weapons in bars so long as we don't drink. She's also stood up for the constitutional rights of people to carry firearms. However, when I read the Constitution, to carry firearms is more for protection and learning about the King of England invading us that was put in there. It's not for being offensive. If I may say one thing, I'm a bar owner. I worry all the time about somebody coming in and just blowing the bar up. Then my investment is gone. I've made an investment in Myrtle Beach. My bar's just turning around. I have employees that would lose some salary by these 4 hours. Crime is crime. You have signs up on my street,
Don't we have signs restricting the parking?
but even your parking is designed as a super block. You're right, I'm 50 feet out of the super block.
Right.
But this is going to give a lock on everybody who's 2 blocks away on business, which is a violation, as I just heard about franchising and that in your law here. You're giving preferential treatment to other bars so that they can make money during those 4 hours. And as far as the tiki bar, you can go to the tiki bar, you go to Sharky's, it's all within walking distance, so you're giving them preferential treatment. And you're giving them financial remuneration. So I'm just going to point that out, as I don't think this law is a good law. I mean, you know, there are shootings all over town. We need to combat crime. We need to work together. We have a gang task force. And furthermore, this particular last shooting was an execution. This man went into that bar specifically to execute that man, no matter who was watching. And the 4 bystanders got shot because they were too close. He got 3 or 4 bullets in him. That was a hit. Anywhere that gentleman went that night, he would have been shot. Anywhere, but he chose to go to the club across the street. And I was there that night. I was there. I'm not sure that this emergency notice is necessary. If you have an issue with a bar, you have a packet of laws that you gave me when I got my license, that Officer James gave me. Use the laws. Plus you have a moratorium law, that if somebody becomes a nuisance, and you used the word nuisance when you spoke, if somebody's a nuisance, shut them down. You have it in the ordinance already. Let that one bar deal with you and whatever they did, but please don't just give a blanket here. I'm looking for fairness in the laws, I'm looking for equality, and this is not equal, and this is not fair.
What we're doing cross promotion with Malibu, with Cedar Frogs, and Broadway the Beach. So basically, we promote for them, they promote for us, and then we get people, the tourists, or whoever is after 2 o'clock, they want to come out and still party a little bit. And if we didn't make any problems, we don't have anything, I think if you put a blanket over us too, it's just kills my business. Club Day's been open for 10 years. I've been running for 7. If you've proven yourself throughout the years that you know how to manage, because obviously if we've been open for 7 years, this would hit me profusely. It would be like the end of it. And just 2 years ago, 3 years ago, we renovated like the outside, changed the sign, put a new awning, completely redone the inside. So we put a lot of money there, and now it would be just gone.
We've been shut at from outside of our club, but those people were not let in. We are very good with our security. We had a promoter and she actually had her security out front that night, and somehow we got down in. It was not from our security, but I know we're getting blamed, which is okay. But it wasn't our fault.
I'm Crutch, president of the Five Points Business Association. I will address as president about the parking solution. I did have a conversation with John Peterson yesterday morning. At 9 a.m. yesterday, I was getting phone calls from reporters. I did want to make sure that my response was, as an organization, was in line and consistent with what the city was talking about for our relations. I did address with John, but I want to address it publicly as well. My first thought when I was informed Sunday morning or afternoon about the parking ban from 2 to 6 a.m. is, and something I would like City Council to consider, is if it's 1:45 in the morning and these bars close at 2, and we have an inebriated person that wants to make a smart decision and take a taxi cab home, and they leave their vehicle there, that person should not be penalized for making a smart decision and have their vehicle towed. Because if we have a parking ban there from 2 to 6 a.m., and that person makes the decision of paying a $150 towing fee or driving it away drunk, we're endangering the lives of everyone.
I'm George Clay. I own the St. George Bar. Let's see, I came down here in 2010. I had lost my houses due to the economy then up in New Jersey. My parents were down here. I quickly got a job down in Charleston where I worked there for 6 months, and the business, the corporation sold the business to a franchisee who didn't want me. So I came back up here to take care of my parents. I was cutting lawns, I was working very hard, and I took my last savings and I opened up the St. George Bar here in downtown Myrtle Beach, and and I like it. I mean, I've always wanted to own a bar, and I've always wanted to be a bar owner. My dad has since then passed. My mother, I'm kind of taking care of my mother. She's 80, along with running a bar. We're in our 3rd year, which is pretty good considering most businesses don't make it through the 1st year. So that's good. And now we're having super block concerns. The super block in Myrtle Beach. What about the super block? Well, I'm here to tell you, I go out every night and I never get bothered when I go to my car. The city is now enacting, because of the shooting the other night, is enacting mandatory parking restrictions, and that even though I'm not in the super block, those parking restrictions are going to affect my business. I stay open late sometimes when the people are here. We stay open on the nights we can. We sell beer and wine as long as we can. Usually I'm not open much past 3 or 3:30, and we're out of here by 4 usually. Saturday and Sunday not allowed to sell liquor or alcohol, so we leave at 2. This is kind of a dream to come here and have a beautiful. If you look down the road here, down towards the ocean, it's beautiful. I mean, it's just on the right day, the right light. It's just beautiful to see the ocean down there. We have a lot of tourists come in the summer, a lot of locals, but every time something happens in the super block, the media blows it out of proportion. Yes, there's crime. There's crime everywhere in Myrtle Beach. I mean, there was a shootout down at a hotel.
there's a, you know, shootout in somebody's house, there's constant robberies and everything. I don't think the super block is is dangerous, more dangerous than any other spot in Myrtle Beach. I think that the super block has just as much crime as everywhere else.
How has the 2 o'clock curfew affected your business?
Well, I'm technically not in the super block. I am out of the super block by 100 feet. You know, on the other side of the street, that's the super block. On this side of the street, I'm not the super block. And I was told today that I'm not in the super block. So that 2 o'clock curfew, according to what the city council told me this morning, is not going to affect me that way. The parking restriction is, because my people park all around here. And to say that at 2 o'clock a patron who says, you know what, I'm going to take a cab home and just be safe, now has to drive home because his car will be towed. Look, it's wrong that a guy walks into a bar and shoots 5 people. 5 people, you know, and it was done execution style as though it was a hit. I don't understand how that's the bar's fault. Wherever that person that got shot was going that night, he was going to be shot. Whether it was at the mall, whether it was at another bar, whether it was at Broadway at the beach, wherever he was going out that night, because that man was waiting for him. So I don't know what the guy did, but there's more than meets the eye to that crime. You know, and I just wish that people would truly, look, don't be afraid. There's nothing to be afraid of down here. You know, this place is safe. I go for coffee across the street. I eat the Ethiopian next door. I constantly look out the doors to see what's going on. And there's really no more crime than the boulevard. You know, I drive down the boulevard, there's guys, you know, catcalling me as I got my window down, which means they're selling something. So, I like Myrtle Beach. I like, you know, I like being here. I like being a bar owner. I like, you know, I'm here. I've got my money entrenched in this bar. You know, I'm looking to, you know, when I'm done with this bar, I'm retiring. And that's it. I mean, this is a nice area. And if you don't believe me and you want somebody to hold your hand and walk you around the area, come on down and grab me at the St. George Bar. And I'll show you. This is not a bad place. That's kind of my story. I just wish that every time that something happens in the super block, the media just doesn't pick it up and make it like you know, the super block is guilty before proven innocent, or before the facts are out, or before, I mean, really, how does a bar stop a man from walking in? It happened in Polson, Florida. How does a bar stop a man from walking in and then just opening fire? I don't know.